Okay, so I talked about the 4 prerequisites, the 4 requirements. And what are these 4 requirements? So I'm going to show you how this works. First of all, what you do is open up Internet Explorer, the browser. Don't open up Firefox or Safari or Google Chrome, because if it works in Internet Explorer, then it works in PowerPoint. Okay, so let me go ahead and open an instance of Internet Explorer here. So I have a open browser window of Internet Explorer here, and I'm going to get some Flash content here. So I have a Swift file here, which I'm going to drag it into an open window. And I get this warning, and I accept the warning that says allowed block content. And you can see that Flash movie is playing in Internet Explorer. So if a Flash movie plays in Internet Explorer, then you will fairly be sure that it's going to work for you in PowerPoint as well. Okay, so we finished one of the prerequisites, and let's go and explore the second prerequisite. Okay, the second prerequisite is that you need to have a Swift file. We already dragged the Swift file into the IE window, so we've actually fulfilled the first and the second prerequisite. The third prerequisite is that you create an empty folder even before you start creating your presentation. Okay, and then you go and save your presentation into that empty folder, and then you also go and place your Swift files that you want to insert into PowerPoint in the same folder as well. It's a good idea to keep all the content related to that presentation in the same folder, because 6 months down the line or a year down the line, you probably won't remember where it was. So if you have everything in one folder, it's a good thing to do. At the least, make sure that your presentation file and your Swift file is certainly in the same folder. So let me see how do I have that. Before I show that to you, let me go to the fourth prerequisite, that you should have the developer tab in the ribbon enabled in both 2007 and 2010 versions of PowerPoint. I'll show you that as well. So I have created a container here. Let me go and create an empty folder here. And I'm going to take my Swift file there, and I'm going to take probably one of my container files there too. Okay, so I don't need that one. Okay, so I have a file for 2000 and 2010. These are just blank, empty single slide files, and I have a Swift file there. The next thing I told you is that you need to have the developer tab of the ribbon enabled in PowerPoint 2007 and 10. So I'm going to launch 2007 here. I have it open over here, and as you can see, these are the tabs in the ribbon: home, insert, design, so on and so forth until add-ins. Your tabs may be different. If you have the developer tab already showing, so then you're good to go. If you don't have the developer tab showing, you will go to the Office button, get down to PowerPoint options, and there you have this option that says show developer tab in the ribbon. And then you go and hit OK there, and you see this new tab over there called the developer tab. So this is how I would do that in 2007. It works a little differently in 2010, because even if I go to the options using the file menu there, I don't see over here any option show developer tab in the ribbon. So if I had to show the developer tab in the ribbon in PowerPoint 2010, I would need to go to the customize ribbon option here. In the second list on the right over there, these are all the main tabs that are visible. There's one tab that's not visible, and that's developer. You can see it over here, and I'm going to go and click on that to make that visible and say OK. And you'll see that I have the developer tab enabled there now. Okay. So let me just go ahead and follow the rest of the session now. So we have all these 4 prerequisites in place now. And now we're actually going to add Flash to PowerPoint. Before I actually go and add Flash to PowerPoint, let me tell you there are 2 procedures that you can follow to add Flash content to your PowerPoint slide. The first process is actually using the developer tab that we just enabled. Okay, so now that you have in the developer tab in PowerPoint 2007 and 2010, okay, I just got some comment that says you probably want me to talk a little slowly. Okay, I'll definitely try and speak a little slowly now. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you have the developer tab in PowerPoint 2007 and 2010 enabled, you can actually go and insert Flash content using options in the developer tab. The other option available only in PowerPoint 2010 is to insert it as a movie, and I'll show you that, and I'll then discuss what are the differences between those 2 processes. So let me go ahead in 2007. So I'm going to take a single slide presentation. I'm going to open it in 2007. And I go to the developer tab here, and you have this area here called controls. And right here you have an option that says more controls.
Geetesh, this is Jill. We also have a request that at some point if you could show us how to add that developer tab to the ribbon again when you have a moment.
I certainly can do that. Probably it will be a good idea if I can do it right away before going ahead with the rest of the session. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can get rid of the developer tab and get it back again. So I'm in PowerPoint 2007. I go to the office button option here, and if I scroll down, I come to this option that says PowerPoint options. Once I click that, I come to the PowerPoint options dialog here. And in the PowerPoint options dialog, there's an option that says show developer tab in the ribbon. So if I go ahead and disable this and say OK, you'll see that the developer tab no longer shows there. So how do I get it back? You know, probably the same way. I go to the office button there, go and choose PowerPoint options, and choose show developer tab in the ribbon and hit OK. And now the developer tab comes back over there. Okay, so when I'm actually going to show you how to do it in 2010, I will show you how to get the developer tab back in that version as well. Okay, so I'm in the Jill, was that okay?
I think that answered the question. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I'm in the developer tab now, and this is the controls group here. Within the control group, I have this option here, which is called more controls. If I click on the more control option, what I get is a dialog of the same name. So these are all the controls that I install on my computer. The controls installed in your computer may be totally different. But what you have to do is select any control and hit S in your keyboard, so you can come to the area where all the controls that start with S are there, and you choose an option that says Shockwave Flash Object and say OK. So at this time, your cursor changes from the arrow to a crosshair. So you can take the crosshair and drag it around to place an instance of the control on your slide. And this is how it's going to look like at this point of time. So it's an empty control without any Flash movie in that. To get a Flash movie inside that, I'm going to go back to the folder here, and you'll notice that the folder has something called a Swift file. And you can notice the name of the Swift file, worley.swift. So let me go back here, right click over here, go to Properties in the right click menu that opens, and I get this Properties pane over here, and in the Properties pane I can go to the option that says Movie, and I can type the name of the Swift file and hit Enter. At this point of time, the Flash file is inserted into my slide. So if I go and play it at this point of time, excuse me,